The arterial solutions, like I was saying, right now we're looking at a working alignment of 200 feet, knowing there's potential to go less than that at that point as well.
Okay, we've got a couple others here now. Since the main purpose, this is more of a statement, but I think you can address this. Since the main purpose of the corridor appears to be serving the numerous intermodals, limit the Illiana Corridor to truck traffic only. With this only law enforcement and emergency vehicles under 14 tons to be permitted.
Okay, so to get the question, the study area and the purpose and need of what we're finding is one of the needs is freight, but it's not just for the intermodal type centers, it's also for the region. It's a regional connectivity throughout really the United States. We're using the national model when we look at freight. We also look at the 18-county region. The intermodal sites, we have talked with them. We do have those included in our model. They kind of operate like a firework. They just kind of spread trucks everywhere, not just maybe on the Illiana Corridor, some on the Illiana Corridor. So the Illiana Corridor is not just for the intermodal sites. It's more for the regional connectivity. There's also the local issues that a lot of the freight has on the local system, being that there's a lack of east-west higher functional class routes. So you see a lot of truck movements on Piato Blacktop. You see a lot of truck movements down in these areas. This is what we're trying to capture. And so looking at at all scenarios, a tolling type scenario for a truck only, we can certainly look at that. That could be a suggestion, and we would, that could be a mode, a truck only toll.
One of the things I want to add to that too, though, this is one of the other reasons for this project is because there is a lack of east-west roadways, and that's not just for the trucks. That's also, it's a lack of roadways for people trying to get to work. There's a lot of folks that have to drive across this area to have access to jobs, and so one of the big benefits of this project is being able to, within a reasonable amount of time, to be able to have access to more jobs as well. And so that will, we believe, also enhance economic development and provide jobs for people that are here and allow more jobs to come to this area as well, allowing more people to come in to work in those areas as well.
If I would add too that through the corridor planning group, those meetings, there were some suggestions of truck-only lanes through those meetings, those workshops. Dave, did you want to add anything to that?
Okay.
If all goes well, what is the projected start construction date?
It depends on the corridors. It depends on what we find as truly a corridor, an alternative that best meets these needs within the study area. Looking at a new corridor or a new alignment alternative, if we look at a potential P3 type opportunity, then there could be potential to get financing. And that's something that we'd like to look at within Tier 1 is the financial viability of these projects. Our current schedule shows the end of Tier 1 happening towards the end of next year. And then with Tier 2 taking another 18 to 24 months. At that point, then something could get built that soon if it's financially viable in a P3. An arterial type improvement will take, probably about, I was thinking probably about 6-7 years for something. I mean, we'll still see, we'll have to find the financing funding through just regular state funding mechanisms, through just appropriations through the Senate or through the Congress and downstate. So something like that could take 6 to 8 years, something in that time frame. But I think right now it's a little too early in the process to start looking at that date. We first got to find out what is needed here and try to just find what best meets the area. And that's where we're at right now. So we'd like your suggestions on all alternatives, and everything is still on the table at this point. And we'd like to look at everything.
This is in regards to like a P3. Would they allow a foreign country to finance this road or corridor?
Go ahead.
I'm going to speak just on Indiana's behalf at this point.
And they could mean?
Well, obviously the company that's operating the Indiana Toll Road right now is a foreign-owned company, and so that is a possibility on the Indiana side. There's nothing in our law that says it has to be a United States-owned company, but there's some because it might be owned in someplace else, that doesn't necessarily change the way that they have to perform and maintain that. If they still have to maintain it as a business, and we still have requirements that we put on them to be maintained in a certain way, up to certain standards, and we take some satisfaction in the fact that they can't, like some other companies, if they don't do well in their business, they can pick up their business and go someplace else. We're pretty sure that's not going to happen with this, at least. So that gives us some comfort.
In Illinois, it's part of the Illiana Expressway Act that was passed as far as the selection process. It's very detailed. It's very legislative. I'm not sure. It's really just a quality-based selection right now in our proposal. So it could be from anywhere as long as it's a quality-based proposal right now.
I don't think we have any others. That was the last question. So this will conclude the question and answer session. We will continue for those of you that have not seen the presentation yet, we'll start that here momentarily. Feel free to spend more time here and ask more questions in the exhibit room if you have any. Thank you.